Hi, everyone. Welcome to the seventh episode of NFTs for Breakfast. I'm Vanta.
I'm Wavy.
And I'm Troy Man, and we make NFTs as easy as ABCs. All right, so for today, we're going to be talking about, well, right now, NFT NYC is going on in New York. It's a very big event where a lot of different projects go and to showcase stuff and to have parties and events and things like that. And the biggest one that's kind of going crazy is Doodles, and they had something called Doodles 2.0, and Vanta knows a lot about it, so I'm going to let her take this away.
So, Doodles had their party yesterday, and they announced that there's going to be, they announced a bunch of stuff. So, let's start from the beginning. They announced that they had 776, which is an investment firm, did their first round of funding for Doodles 2.0. And they also brought on a couple new members to the board, which is one of them was a co-founder of Reddit. And the second new board member is Pharrell Williams.
That's crazy.
And so that's crazy. Like so awesome that, you know, he's such an innovative person and he's in fashion and music and all parts of entertainment. So I feel like he is like the perfect person to bring on if you want to go next level with the project. Mm-hmm. He's also the chief branding officer for Doodles now. So he's going to be very hands-on in everything they do, from animation to music, which they announced they're going to drop Doodles album in partnership with Columbia Records. And they announced that Doodles 2.0, they're not going to just go to thousands of people, but they're going to try to reach millions of people. So, amazing. I mean, that's next level for me. Like, that's going next level. And the coolest part is that with Doodles 2.0, there's a thing called wearables, because they want each doodle to have its own identity. So you can change outfits for your doodle and with no gas charge.
That's crazy.
And you can change the background music your doodle has. And I just thought that was so cool.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Is that everything, or is there more?
Well, I mean, it's utility for the first generation owners, because if you want to use one of their traits, you have to purchase it from them.
That's crazy.
Which is like awesome. But yeah, that's what their duplicator is for. And for their space doodles, they're launching a game, and yeah, they just have a lot of awesome projects coming up, and yeah, it's really cool. I'm really excited for them.
Yeah, no, it makes sense why they're trending. I feel like, you know, they released the trailer, and that, like, the animation itself off of that was like, it was so pretty dope. Cool. It was a short trailer, but it was just very interesting. And it was like everything was animated. There was music behind it. And I think it was like leading up to NFT NYC, where they revealed like, oh, it's not just a JPEG anymore. There's going to be like a video portion, animation portion to it, music portion to it. And I was looking at one of the presentation slides that they showed at NFT NYC. And like you were saying, it was like they were mentioning how NFTs are like scarce, but they're gonna try to make it accessible. To your point of, instead of thousands, it's not like a 10K collection. It's like millions of you know, whatever they're gonna release collection. So they're definitely trying to onboard just a ton of people into the Doodles ecosystem, which is crazy. They're not trying to be exclusive with it. They're just trying to like introduce a lot more people. And they're like, hey, you know, come join our ecosystem. We're just trying to be innovative. We're trying to do new things, I think, which is amazing. Like, essentially, you're taking a JPEG into like an audio visual thing component. And I think like one of the biggest news also is they're not going to release it on the Ethereum blockchain. We don't know what blockchain it's going to be on. They might come out on a new blockchain. It just said like TBA in their presentation. So
yeah.
I
mean, they might just make their own, right?
Right, exactly. They might create their own blockchain. Like, they have so much funding. Like, the co-founder of Reddit led the first round of funding. They made millions. Like, they were able to raise millions. That's insane. They have Pharrell Williams as a brand officer. And let's not forget the CEO is the former president of Billboard. Like, they're gonna kill it like with music.
And that the other co-founder from Reddit that joined the board, she was with Apple when Steve Jobs was there.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like the Doodles team is just gonna just kill it. Like, I can't wait for that album to come out. Like, I feel like that album,
I know, right?
Is gonna be dope. And like you were saying, wearables, I heard there's like another component where you can unlock different music from like the biggest artists for your NFT, which is insane.
So the album that's coming out from Doodles, it's gonna be like the music you can put to your Doodles too.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, that's game changer.
And like when you purchase the album on the blockchain, you get a bunch of stuff with it too. Like you get some wearables, you get custom art, like you get all these features with the album on the blockchain. And I'm like, that's like next level. That's like where they're leading where music is also going to go now, because you get airdropped all this stuff and you buy the album.
It's like, okay, so the idea that you can, if you're a first gen owner, right? And when the new, man, it's so ambitious to do this, because like, I know contracting for something that's like millions, that's got to be a very, very difficult contract to build, right? So whatever they're doing is going to be crazy, but I feel like if this actually is what they say it is, if you are one of the first gen owners, like you're just going to be making money constantly.
Yeah.
Which is insane, right? Like, and since you're selling your trait, and like you're not the only one with your trait, there's very few one of ones in Doodles, I'm assuming, right? So you could, I think it's like you can bid the lowest, right? Kind of like you're selling it on a market, and then so you could have the cheapest one, and then that one could be the one that's sold most often. Is that like how it's going to work?
But from my understanding is if you want a trait, you contact that specific NFT owner, that specific doodle owner is how I understood it. I'm not sure how it's going to exactly work. I mean, I guess we won't know until it actually drops, right?
Because like I can't imagine. Okay, so if it was that, so say if there's actually millions, right, of and then they want this guy's trait, or like, you know, it's maybe a couple hundred people that have this trait, so those millions are gonna be like just hitting them up, and they're gonna have to like check every single message and be like yes, or like I was like that idea just doesn't make any sense. Like it's got to be like a market or something.
It's not going to be just those traits from the original
I understand
collection. There's going to be like other clothes and accessories and stuff too.
I'm just saying, like, if there's a guy with like a really sought after trait and everyone hits him up at the same time, like that's gonna be crazy. How is he gonna respond to all those messages?
That's true.
I'm sure they'll figure it out. It's gonna be on an app, so I'm sure they thought about it. They just didn't go into like details or whatever. But I just thought it was really cool, and I feel like this is a game changer for the NFT world. And I hope that this, you know, brings back people to like.
Dude, it's so bullish.
NFTs,
such like everything they did was so great. Like when we talked about that little music video or that little video that they dropped, when I was watching, I was like, this is like really high quality animation. You could just tell by the way that everything moves. I was like, this is like something Pixar would make. That's how high quality it is. I was like, dang, this is crazy. And then like the announcements that you guys just went over, because I didn't really know everything. I just knew that it was something big. I was just like, oh, well, of course they're going to spend a lot of money on that video because of everything else that they're putting out. Because like, wow, it was big news. It was big news.
Yeah, so then, I don't know if we mentioned, but then Doodles 2 is going to be fully animated.
Yeah.
So all the characters will be moving. But yeah, I mean, this is like next level news, you guys. Yeah, I'm really excited.
You could tell it went from 8 Ethereum or 9 Ethereum, 8 to 9 Ethereum just last week. And now it's at 15 E. Yeah. So you could just, you know, people are bullish on it. Like this is honestly about to be crazy.
It might be worth buying it even at 15. because of the
It might
potential
be.
of how much money
Honestly,
you'll be making
might
in the
be.
future.
Yeah.
Either way, that's not financial advice, by the way, but because that's like 15 grand. But still, it's the idea of like, there's only 10,000. And if they have a trait, if you're lucky, you get a trait that everyone wants. Like, and it could be like a trait that everyone wants out of irony, because like maybe it's a sucky trait, but then everyone's like, oh, let's everyone get this sucky trait, kind of thing. Oh man, like it's just so crazy, the potential for that. So going through all this, Doodles 2.0, we know other companies had events too, but is it safe to say nothing came as close? Nothing came as crazy as this. Like nothing came close to being as crazy as this.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I haven't been keeping up with all the parties and announcements, but from the ones I've heard, nothing comes close to Doodles.
Mm-hmm.
I think this was by far the biggest announcement and a game changer.
Yeah. So like, what does this mean for the NFT world moving forward? Like, we're still in a bear market, right? It's the ETH price is hovering right around 1,000 at this point, maybe like 1,000 to 1,100 or something. But then this announcement and the potential for it, and what does it mean for the like short term, and what does it mean for long term for other big projects in the NFT world?
Well, I mean, to pull off a project like this, like you need like 776 funding you, right? It's hard to pull off for a project that's just launching.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's going to be really hard for projects that are just launching, because this news is like so big and it's going to change the way NFTs are. But I can't imagine projects just starting out being able to do what Doodles are doing. It's just you need that funding.
Yeah,
you need Pharrell Williams.
I don't think that really okay. So I guess what I meant was like, what does this mean for other big NFT projects that like the Bored Apes or the Azukis or the CryptoPunks? Like these are blue chips. Now that Doodles is not even that old, it's like pretty new, right? And they're doing this. What does that mean for these bigger projects, other big projects?
I think it just puts it just puts pressure on all the other blue chip collections that if they want to stay competitive, they're going to have to release more utility, maybe switch up their roadmap, update it, come up with something innovative to just keep up with what Doodles is doing. For what Vanta was saying, for smaller projects or projects that are just releasing, I kind of feel bad, because it's like you can't just release a PFP project anymore, or like a profile picture, like just a JPEG project before you. It can't just be art, I feel like, anymore. There has to be like utility or like a roadmap now, and which obviously the smaller collections or the collections that are just launching, they can't promise too much just because they are starting. They don't have the funding like that yet. So yeah, I'm just it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
So the positive is like, I don't know, like it's gonna create a lot of competition, I think. Well, we'll see. Hopefully it'll create like positive competition so that everyone will kind of benefit, especially people that have been in the crypto world for a long time. At the same time, the negative is for any newer projects that come in feeling that they're unable to compete in the newer market.
Right.
Like, okay, so this is just I literally just had this thought, but this reminds me of when smartphones were starting to become big. I don't know if you guys remember that time, but it wasn't just Samsung and Apple and whatever. Like it was like HTC, it was like all these random companies, right? BlackBerry was still around back then, and all these companies. Palm, I don't know if you guys remember Palm and these random OSs, right? And it was like the Wild West, and everyone was just trying to like figure out who's the best, and eventually it boiled down to basically two companies, and maybe Google has their phone too, but then Samsung is most of Android, I feel like, and then Apple is Apple. So, and I feel like that happens in most markets, right? Like maybe at some point there was like a bunch of sneakers or whatever, and now it's like Nike and a couple other brands or something like that. So I'm wondering if that's going to happen with the NFT world. Is it going to kind of be in that way where it's just a couple of these companies that just are they're it, or like, is there still room for the smaller guys? I mean, if we think about it for everything, I suppose there's always room, but what does that mean for them?
Yeah, that's something to think about. But I mean, if you want to be like the it product, then you have to have innovative stuff like Doodles is doing, right?
Yeah.
And you have to, level up your game.
Yeah. It's like, this is like the kind of, you could always see this trend happening, like with things. It's sometimes it's hard to see it when you're in it, because like we literally lived through the smartphone revolution, right? Like where it started and where it is now. So like it's hard to like remember, but if you look at it like in a history book, it's like, oh, it used to be 1 billion different companies and now it's just 2, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh, like we are in like such the early stages of the NFT history book right now, and like where is it going to go is just so interesting to me.
Yeah. I mean, one of the examples that the CEO of Billboard that came to Doodles when he was giving his presentation, what he said was that, like there's 2 ends of this ecosystem. It's like the people that are already in it, and the other side it's going to be all these millions of people that are going to come into NFTs, right? But the NFT world's not exactly ready for it. And I feel like Doodles is making that next step to ready all of these newcomers coming in. And that's why it's such a game changer. And so the example he gave was like, remember like Napster and stuff where you LimeWire, where that's the only way you could download music? And then iTunes happened, and then that changed the game, right? That's what Doodles is doing.
Yeah. So that's what they said on their keynote.
Yeah.
Okay. See, that's genius. That's a genius way to put it, to make it like easily accessible, or like you're like, oh, I understand what he's saying. That's totally right. Man, that's, whew. Do I need to scrounge up $15,000 right now?
Hey, but it's 15,000 now. It's better than it being like 45,000.
That's true. Right now, it's the cheapest it's ever gonna be. Holy crap! Oh God!
Best time to buy.
What am I doing? What kind of decisions am I making right now?
Not financial advice.
Not financial advice.
Not financial advice.
By the next episode, I might be a Doodle owner, guys.
Oh man, should we do it?
Oh my God. Okay, we'll talk about this after we're done shooting. Okay. All right. Is there anything else that you guys wanted to talk about today? Any other projects you guys are interested in right now?
No, Doodles.
No. Okay.
It's all about Doodles.
It's all about Doodles. It's really all about Doodles right now. All right. Well, thank you guys all for listening. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and comment down below. If you were at NFT NYC, please let us know what you were doing there, or who'd you meet up with, and what'd you do.
And as we've been saying, this is not financial advice. Please do your own research. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. Till next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.